What to review? So many figures, so little time. Oh, hold on a minute. What's this? Looks like my previous Digimon figure review was over 2 years ago. Well, since we're getting a brand new Digimon anime, I think it's high time for another one. Adventure seems to be the only one that matters nowadays, so I guess it's gotta be one of these guys. Oh, I know! Let's review the Warp Evolving Kudamon to Chirinmon figure from Digimon Savers.
This is Actar's Reviews, from anime to figures and beyond.
Hey, this is Actar and you're watching another episode of Actar's Figure Reviews. In this day and age of adventure overload, I thought it'd be great to remind both Toei and you guys that there are other Digimon series out there that may or may not be better than adventure. So, what better figure to review than the exceedingly rare, Korea-exclusive, Warp Evolving Kudamon to Chirinmon figure from Digimon Savers. You can't get any more niche than that, my friends. As a quick recap, after getting around to watching Savers a couple of years ago, I was hooked and swore to myself to collect all of the transforming figures ever released in the line. Sadly, due to the dwindling popularity of the series and toy sales, the line was cancelled halfway through. 3 of the figures, Agumon to Shine Greymon, Gaomon to Mirage Gaugamon, and this one, Kudamon to Chirinmon, only saw a release in Korea. Among the 3 unreleased figures, this guy is a definite black sheep of the bunch for quite a number of reasons. Most obviously, compared to Shine Greymon and Mirage Gaugamon, this guy is kinda lackluster even though he had a rather awesome role in the show. Secondly, this toy has him evolving into his perfect/ultimate form, Chirinmon. While it makes sense in terms of the timing of this figure's planned release, it would have been so much cooler if they had him evolving into his ultimate/mega Royal Knight form, Slavemon, which you could then pose together with Dukemon or your other Royal Knights figures. Last but not least, this toy suffers from, wait for it, GPS, or Gold Plastic Syndrome. Produced right around the time they figured out a cure, this guy is pretty much one of the last figures from that bygone era. However, as you may have noticed, unlike the horrendously brittle Omegamon figure, I'm about to review this figure for you guys today. Fortunately, the gold plastic is limited to a couple of areas that aren't that important to the figure's overall structural integrity. Even though a couple of locking clips have already broken off on mine, the figure still transforms and holds together just fine. So, because of all these factors, he's arguably the rarest and most mysterious of all the unreleased Savers figures. Well, not anymore. The box he comes in is pretty much the same as the US packaging, save for the Korean text. We have a window display on the front with a flap on top featuring the transformation process. The sides and the back show off all the other products and figures available in the line. So, let's open this up and take a look at the figure inside. Like before, we have an instruction sheet, although this time around it seems to use photos instead of drawn illustrations, and a plate for your Digivice IC, which is something I still have yet to pick up all these years later. And here we have the main figure himself in Kudamon mode. And there are problems, chief among which being the fact that he reminds me of a Pringles tube. The arms and legs are woefully tiny and his head is a little bit undersized. The side profile does kind of manage to capture the sleek and serpentine body a little bit better, but it reveals the most egregious back kibble I've ever seen in the form of Chirinmon's tail. One could argue that it's just Kudamon's tail all rolled up, but no, that's not it. On the sides, we can also see a ton of rather nice molded detail that's unfortunately not painted in the slightest. Articulation wise, there's really not much to speak of. The arms are on very simple and not to mention limited ball joints, and the legs can also move up and down a tiny bit, though I'm not sure what difference this makes. Technically, you could also pose Chirinmon's tail as well on these series of joints, but pose them too much and he won't even be able to stand up any longer. Alrighty then, unfortunately that's really all there is to Kudamon mode. Hopefully his Chirinmon mode will be able to impress. Dejeso Furu Chaji! First we unpack his ears and slide them all the way to the back on this track. We take his head, split it apart and flip the shell pieces to the back, revealing Chirinmon's head. Unpack Kudamon's arms and slide them down. And then we unpack Kudamon's legs, slide them all the way around to cover up Kudamon's arms. Split the shell pieces that form Kudamon's main body apart to reveal Chirinmon's main body. Flip Chirinmon's tail down to make more room. And now we'll work on these shell pieces to turn them into Chirinmon's wings. Split each shell piece into 3 distinct panels and then use these pegs to repeg them into a more splayed out position. We then take the wings and swing them all the way to the back on this hinge. Reposition the shells that form Kudamon's headpiece, split them apart and fold them around the wings to give the wings a double layered effect. Fold up Chirinmon's horn, form his head, and fold up his neck into place. Take his chest guard, fold it up, and lock it into place. Flip out these side guards, flip down his legs and slide them out into position one by one, very carefully. Rotate these cloud anklet things until they are completely horizontal. And splay his tail out. Like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon. No, not that butterfly. Come on, this is Savers. Thank you. We have Chirinmon in all of his glory. Now, I have to admit, while I really don't understand the choice behind Chirinmon, as I never felt he was all that popular of a Digimon, I can't say he doesn't work rather well in toy form. He's pretty accurate to the on-screen character and rather flashy, with a ton of shelf presence with his fanned out wings and striking red, green and gold color scheme. Several things to note. Right off the bat, none of the instructions or promotional pictures can seem to come to a consensus on how to pose the Kudamon headpieces. My solution, as shown during the transformation section, was to fold them around the main shell pieces in order to give his wings a layered look, like how it's actually supposed to be, and I think it worked rather well. It would have been far better if there was any paint to go along with all of this detail, but hey, you take what you can get. Folding them around the main wings also allows everything to hold very securely in place. Secondly, the gold plastic pieces. As mentioned at the beginning of the review, the gold plastic isn't that big of a problem thanks to the design. These tail pieces aren't load bearing at all, so no problems there. These leg pieces are supposed to clip into place after sliding out. However, those clips on the hind legs broke off the first time I transformed the figure. However, the figure still holds together perfectly and stands just fine without them. Speaking of movement, the figure's articulation is pretty horrible as per most 4-legged transforming toys. The legs can move forwards and backwards, though I'm not going to risk it. The knees can bend forwards and backwards. The tail can move up and down. It can be bent on these 2 joints. As shown during the transformation, it can also flare out. The head can move up and down on this neck joint. The neck itself is stuck thanks to this. It's locked in place thanks to this chest piece, and the wings can be posed thanks to the myriad of hinge joints, but you lose this very nice flat open look, and of course you do risk jostling this very nice configuration out of place. All in all, as much as I question the thought processes that went into this figure's creation, despite its flaws, I can't help but love this guy. This figure is everything that modern Digimon is not. Being based on an arguably minor character from a comparatively niche series, it comes from a time when the franchise was willing to take risks and willing to be different. It exists against all odds, and I applaud that. There's no way a toy like this would be made in today's context. If you want to pick this figure up for yourself, however, it's going to be rather difficult. Appearing only on auction sites and secondhand stores, he goes for a rather pretty penny. I can't really recommend this guy unless you're a die-hard Kudamon or Chirinmon fan or a Savers fan looking to complete the set. If you have the extra cash, definitely prioritize the Shine Greymon figure, which is the undeniable shining star of the line. So, this is Actor saying, see you guys in the next episode.